Okay, in this section we're going to talk about web template features. So these are different from what we've been doing before with the site definitions because those require a farm solution. These web templates actually get deployed via a feature, so it allows deployment at the site collection level. So this is actually a good thing because, especially if you're working with SharePoint Online and Office 365, that's the only thing you're allowed to deploy is things at the site collection level. So it has a very close feature parity with site definitions. It's based on an existing site definition. It does not support document templates, and it will work in a sandbox solution. So you could actually deploy this to an Office 365 site if you wanted to, SharePoint Online. It also gets created when you save a site as a template. That WSP that gets created, if you could actually it's just a cab file. You could rename it and look at it, and you would see it's using the WebTemplate element. And I think it's the best approach moving forward because with site definitions, you may do something that's gonna not compatible with as SharePoint versions change. Whereas with a web template, you're building something that's a feature and it's based on an existing site definition, and Microsoft is not going to change the existing site definitions. But when you go to say if you have to reinstall SharePoint again, then your custom site definition that you created is not going to be there unless you have to actually put it there. So the web template element specifies the default behavior of the template and has various required attributes. The base template ID, which is the ID of the site definition on which your web template is based. And then the base template name, which is the name of the site definition on which the web template is based. And then base configuration ID, that's the ID of the configuration used within the base site definition. And then name can just be your name of the template. So you might think that from these required attributes that a web template inherits much of the base site definition's features, but it actually doesn't work that way. Not sure why those attributes are required and how they work with a web template, but they don't get inherited. There's optional attributes that you can specify that do affect the behavior. So those are the things just like the site definition with title, alternate CSS URL, custom JS URL. There's more. And then it also has an Onet.xml file as well. And this is where the actual implementation of the template lies. This version is the same as the Onet.xml and a site definition, except the only permitted child elements are nav bars, configurations, and that's it. So things like list templates, document templates, modules, if you had a server email footer element, those don't apply. You cannot use those. And you're only allowed one configuration element. So some attributes of project are superseded by web template attributes. And the biggest difference is using features instead of modules. Again, so you can't use modules in the web template like you do in the site definition. If you need to use module elements, you just put them within a feature, which would be specified in the site features or the web features elements. So, and that's a best practice when building site definitions anyway, but when using web templates, it's a requirement. So now what we're going to do is we're going to build a web template and we're going to create a site based on the web template that we deploy, and then we'll build a site off of that. Okay, we're back to our Visual Studio solution again, and I'm going to add a new item to the project. In this case, we don't have a template for web templates like we do with site definitions, so that's okay though. We'll just add an empty element. I'll just call it my web template. going to put in the WebTemplate element here. Base template ID is going to be 1. Base template name. It'll be STS for team site. And base configuration is 0. Title, we'll just call it custom web template. Description, we'll add that next. And name, let's say my web template. Make sure we close that off, and we'll just make it pretty here so we can easily take a look at it. Okay. Now I'm going to come into my template here. I'm going to add a new item. We need to add our Onet.xml file. So I'm just going to go ahead and find, let's see, XML file. Onet.xml. Okay, here's our Onet.xml. Now one thing I want to do here is, can't really see this. Okay, so I want to get the schema for the Onet.xml file. I don't want to have to memorize this thing, so I'm just going to click the ellipse here, and I'm going to choose wss.xsd. So see if I can find that. That's the one. So we have, okay, we have WSS.XSD selected, so that's good. So I'm going to save that. And now I can start entering in data here. So I'll just add the project element. So now this is good because it's giving me the nice IntelliSense. So by adding that schema, I get the IntelliSense. Title we'll call custom template. And lister equals lists. And let's just tidy this up a little bit. Okay, and then we'll add nav bars. And configurations. Oops. Oops. Configuration ID. It's going to be 0. The name will be default. Okay. Site features and then web features. Do it again. Oops. goes after site features. So web features. And then next thing I need to do is for Onet.xml, I need to go to the properties of that and make sure to specify that for the deployment type, it's an element file. That makes sure that the file is included in the package for deployment. If I just deployed this right now, it would actually create the site, but it wouldn't provision any, like, there wouldn't be a home page. The site would have no home page, so if you try to navigate to it, you just get a 404 error. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to go ahead and copy the site features and web features from the custom site definition that we did, because these are from the team site anyway. So let's just highlight these and copy them. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and just build and deploy the solution. And let's go ahead and deploy it. And let's go ahead and create well, actually, you need to do one thing I did not do yet, is this feature actually has to be, we have to make sure it's declared at the site collection level, so I need to retract that solution. Okay, now I can deploy it. Actually, what I want to do, this project is it's a farm solution, so I'm just going to add a new project here. I want it to be a sandbox solution. So I'll just call it chapter 12. I'll just call it chapter 12B. Or sandbox. We'll just call it sandbox. Chapter 12 sandbox. And actually, let's just do that again. So SharePoint, we want empty project. Okay, that's why I wanted to make sure. Chapter 12 sandbox. Okay. That's fine, I can delete that. Does it exist here? No? Okay. Let's just go ahead and delete that out. We don't need that. Okay, add new project. Oops. And yes, we want this to be sandbox. So I'll keep that. And I'll just do the same thing I did here. I'll go ahead and add a new item, and it'll be empty element, just like we did. Whoops, what did I call that before? My web template. Okay, so my web template. Just add that, and then I can copy these files. Okay. That's good. And let's just make sure that this is still okay. So we need to make sure it is an element file. Double check that again. Yes, element file. Okay, great. Okay. And I can delete that from here. Don't want that. I'm going to retract this solution, or this, yeah, I'll retract this. Then I'll go ahead and deploy that one again. Actually, I need to get rid of that feature. Let's retract again. Okay. That's good. So now I have the feature here. Need to make sure it's a site and it contains our element, and this is going to create a sandbox solution, which is exactly what we want. So now I can, let's just recompile this. And I'm just going to go ahead and publish this. Publish to this. I'll just publish to the file system. Okay, that's good. So now I'm going to open up my site. I'm just going to the root site, my root web application. While that's waiting, let me make sure the file is there. Here's my sandbox file. Okay, good. Alright, so now, actually I need to go to site settings. Need to go to solution gallery. And I'll upload that solution. And go to documents, chapter 12. I'm just going to close that. So we'll highlight it, and then I'm going to activate it. And let's make sure it's activated. Yes, it is activated. Okay, so now we'll create a new subsite. And notice how we have this is our custom web template. So this is in the custom right here. Our web template went into the custom tab. So let's just call it custom template test, and we'll call it custom test. Keep that same. We'll go ahead and create. And it's created, so let's look at site contents. Oh, actually we need to, okay, I need to go back. I'm going to delete this site because I don't know that that feature got activated, so let's do that. Well, let's take a look first in site settings. And if I go to manage site features, no, I need to go to the site collection. Okay. Site collection features. Okay, it's activated. So let's go back to that site. Oh, clicked on the wrong one. Okay. So this got provisioned, but it looks like our team site features did not get provisioned. But it did create the wiki page, the site pages library, and created home. Okay, so we need to look at our features again. Looks like team collab feature. Let's take a look at that. See if that got, maybe that feature got implemented but just did not get activated. So let's take a look at that. Go to site settings, go to features. It is active, okay. Oh, they're available. Oh, okay, so they did not get created yet. Okay, so I go to site contents and go to add app. We didn't actually provision those. We just activated the feature. So we could add all these. These are all available now. They just didn't get provisioned. So we do have a team site, but we just didn't actually provision out these. We provisioned the list templates, but not the actual lists themselves. So this worked exactly as we intended. I just forgot that it wasn't going to actually provision the instances of lists. It's only provisioning the list templates. But this worked. And the cool thing about this is that we deployed this as a sandbox solution. And I covered sandbox solutions in a different module in this course. But basically, just to reiterate, that's good because a lot of times system administrators don't want you touching the server, i.e. they don't want you deploying WSP files on the actual servers. But with sandbox solutions, we have a way of just doing that at the site collection level, which we have normal users who have the right permissions to a site collection can just navigate to that, upload their solution file just like we did, activate it, and then you're able to use it. Now, again, the best practice is don't create any executable code in the sandbox solution, which we did not. The code in our Visual Studio solution was purely declarative. So all we were doing was just declaring elements, and we were provisioning this element. We were just creating a web template element and provisioning that. So it's purely declarative.